Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are checking out Everything Goes On by Porter Robinson, covered by Regis Altare. Now, I'm pretty excited to check this out. If I remember correctly, I believe Porter Robinson is the guy who made like Shelter, like that anime music video thing, which did make me cry. So if I remember correctly, that was Porter Robinson. I haven't really heard anything else from him, but I did really enjoy Shelter. So I'm excited to check this out, and I'm excited to check out Regis Altare covering one of his songs, because Altare has a really nice voice. It's a very soft, breathy, inviting voice. It reminds me a lot of Shoto, that we checked out not too long ago as well. So I'm excited to get into this. I hope you are as well. Let's just jump in 3, 2, 1, play. Ooh, okay.
Don't try to make yourself remember.
This is a lot more acoustic.
Don't look for me, I'm just a story.
Ooh. Nice. Okay, this is already a lot more acoustic than I was expecting, because from what I heard in Shelter, it was very like synth based. So this is already very different from what I was expecting. It's a lot more, you know, guitar, keys, focused, and that voice from Altare, that was an awesome lift we got right there.
Darling, don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told.
That sounds good.
So let's pretend a little
Ooh, I like that.
longer, 'cause when we're gone, everything goes on.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, so you could hear the synth rising up, right? So across, like, basically across this, you hear the synth rising up, and then we get a cutout.
Everything goes on.
And then we have a dynamic stutter effect right there to introduce our digital percussive. That's quite interesting. And that's actually, it's a very simple and subtle transition, but it's very effective and it's very clean. Ooh, we got a lot of bass now. Okay, I really like Altare's voice here. It sounds amazing, but we have so much of the bass drum in the mix here. I was not expecting that much bass drum in our percussive there, especially with how, you know, ambient our introduction was and how treble focused everything's been. That's a lot of bass drum, a little too much, I'd say, but I think it'll kind of amp up into a well-fitting mix. I will say this is too much bass drum for me. He's doing some awesome runs.
Selfish that I'm happy as we pass the setting sun.
Ooh, I like that, and it was right before the lifts too. You hear it in the back of the mix, that no. Obviously my pitch wasn't quite on point there, but that sounded really good because we got it right before the vocal lift as well. So the instrumental teases the vocal rise.
Happy as we pass the setting sun.
Right there. Okay, yeah. So it sustains, and then the instrumental rises, and then the vocals have their lift. That's a really nice instrumental lift.
Is it selfish that I'm happy as we pass the setting sun?
Right there, nice. And choral backings as well. Oh, okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. As the main vocal went down on longer, we introduced that backing layered vocal up high. That was really nice. And so effectively, we split effectively on the mix, though the main vocal did go down. Nice. Oh, bringing out the keys here. Nice. So we're doing a lot of digital effects on the vocals here with the stuttering and the breaking up and infusing that into the instrumentation, but we're not really putting much filter on the vocal itself. So the vocal is fairly clean while it's having all these stutter effects and stuff applied to it, which is interesting. I actually really like that, because I feel like the biggest weakness that, in my opinion, when it comes to like synth-based songs or just electronic dance music, stuff like that with vocals, is that I always feel like the filters on the vocals detract from the song as a whole. So having this with a very clean vocal while still having the acoustic instrumentation as well as some of those synth tones bringing in, this is a perfect, to me, this is a perfect way to utilize a synth to create a soft, inviting aesthetic and just a relaxing song to sing along to. I mean, this is such an inviting song here.
And I'm so scared of getting used to this. All the vines that keep you tethered in your room.
Oh.
Someday both of us are leaving here, but for now I'll just bring the seed to you. When you meet me in the daylight like we did
Big cutout.
before.
Are we gonna get a
I
rise?
felt you on my shoulder and you weren't suffering anymore. You said I'm sorry that you worry, but don't
Bringing out the instrumentation now.
apologize. I told you to forget me, but you stayed by my side when I said.
Interesting. Okay, so instead of having like a big synth rise there, what we did was we just had the strings in the back, like accompanying the vocal, and the strings were rising very slowly. You know, you could hear the strings rise a bit, but it wasn't as much as I thought it would be. It wasn't like a synth rise equivalent. It was just a little bit of strings applied to the back, and then we reintroduced that percussion, which is interesting.
I told you to forget me.
And we do have keys as well. Alright. Oh, nice. That's actually really nice. I like how the sustain continues into the chorus there. That was really nice.
When I said, don't try to make yourself remember. Darling, don't look for me, I'm just
that's awesome. That's awesome. I like how the sustain continues in the chorus, and then we have a little re-emphasis of that sustain, right? Oh, we changed the pitch a bit, continuing that past the chorus, like well into the chorus, and then we introduce that layered vocal. So it sounds like it is a different vocal track, but we basically have two. We have the sustain from the previous segment, and then we have the main vocal for the chorus, and then we take away that sustain, and then we introduce the backing vocal for the main vocal of the chorus, which is really nice. I like how those vocal tracks pass the baton. That was really nice. Ooh, bringing out the choral is on the lift.
everything goes on.
Okay. All right. Well, that was Everything Goes On, covered by Regis Altare. That was an awesome performance from him. I really enjoyed that. I will say the mix for this cover was odd. And I don't mean that in necessarily a bad way. It was just odd to me. You know, I feel like there were just some, I mean, the vocals, there were moments where the vocals felt like they were like almost a little like suppressed a tiny bit, but then we'd have these beautiful projections on lifts, and I was like, no, it's probably just like the instrumentation and how it's fitted together. But there were also moments where, like for example, that bass drum with the percussion, the digital percussion bass drum felt really high in the mix at some points. Like it felt like uneven to a degree. Um, but I think that is a style in a sense, you know. And a lot of people do really chase that bass in digital music. I will say I don't really like the emphasis of that bass drum here, because I feel like this was such a treble centric song that was very based around those lifts and the vocal emphasis. So I will say, especially as a VTuber cover where you're trying to showcase the vocalist, I don't think it played to the strengths of Altair to have that bass drum so high, but I don't think it necessarily obscured his voice to any degree. So I don't think it was obstructive necessarily. I just think it was like, in terms of my preference, wasn't the best. But I mean, as a vocalist, Altair did a great job. I mean, he did some awesome runs, some beautiful vocal control from him, and we got to hear some awesome high notes from him, and not to mention the harmonizations as well. I mean, the layered vocals were always beautiful here. There was not a single point where I was like, the layered vocals, like, there wasn't a single point where I thought the song would have been better if we took away the layered vocals. So, which surprisingly does happen quite often, at least with me. I feel like layered vocals can sometimes get thrown in there when they don't need to be, just to switch things up. And obviously you want some variation and you want to switch things up as you're progressing in a song, but a lot of times layered vocals aren't necessarily the best way to go about that, especially if your composition doesn't lend itself to them. There's some compositions where you can kind of just throw in layered vocals anywhere and it'll always sound good, but there are some where layered vocals need to be very consciously placed. But I'd say this song is a song where those layered vocals need to be consciously placed, but it was done beautifully, and all the layered vocals were executed beautifully as well. So overall, I'd say it was wonderful. I loved the way the sustains would lead into the layered vocals, and then we'd have the choral, like these choral handoffs where the chorals would kind of swell in the mix, and then they'd come back down and let the main vocal shine. I mean, that was beautiful. That awareness that Altair had of the mix as well to record those tracks is very impressive. I really enjoyed that. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for letting me know about this cover. And as always, feel free to recommend more things for me to check out in the comments below. Aside from that, I will see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching.